Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation. Thank you very much for being able to take the time to be able to do this interview and talk about this brand new album from Aborted, Terrorvision, which is coming out in just a few weeks now. And I really love the direction that you guys are going in right now. I mean, I love the fact that you're able to maintain that core Aborted sound, but especially on Terrorvision, you guys have been able to expand so much musically and lyrically.
Yeah, we tried to see what we could do while adding some new stuff to the sound, while still being true to the core values of the band. We could have either gone more faster, more brutal or whatever, but we figured we want to try to do something a little bit more different. So that's how that happened, I guess.
And I really do appreciate that as well, because it kind of helps make the song stand out when you're able to have more diverse sounds in an album. It makes the brutal parts sound more brutal, and it makes the more melodic moments more melodic, and it just makes everything stand out more as a whole.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that was the plan, so I'm glad you see it that way.
So, with that said, how did the songwriting process begin for Terrorvision?
Well, it started, I think we already had some demos before last summer, for sure. I think we started writing, like we were discussing what kind of direction we're going to go in when we did that European tour with Creator. I think it was February last year. So I think we spent about a good year and a half writing, something like that. And I think at first we were just like talking, what do we want to do? Do we want to, try to add more atmosphere? Do we want to go darker? Do we just want to go faster, more brutal? Do we, what kind of direction do we go to? Do we want to go more tech or whatever? But I think we decided to do a little bit of everything, but mainly focus on, write good songs and stick to your head that are heavy as fuck, and have that whole, dark dimension that we started sort of introducing since Retrogore. So with that set in mind, I guess everybody just started writing, and actually Ken did a majority of the writing on the record, and he put a lot of time in. He was working full time on it for quite a while, and we were bouncing back and forth with each other. And that's how it went. Just lots of comment rounds. We did pre-productions on everything, which is also a first time, where we actually recorded the entire album before entering the studio, including vocals and everything. So there's a lot of time to, perfect whatever we were trying to do.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to see that too, because, sometimes that really does work out for a band, where you're able to be in that pre-production stage and you're able to really see if something's going to work out or not on a record. So I'm glad that you guys were able to make that kind of time and make sure that everything was going to be the way that you wanted it to go.
Yeah, for sure. And even the producer was involved with that, so it was we had an extra input as well, and it was nice to have the time, because usually when you're touring constantly, it's like, well, guess we gotta do a record. And you're like running out of time and shit. So this was not the case this time, so that was nice.
Oh, absolutely. So, with that said as well, I mean, being able to have more time and being able to do this pre-production work and everything else that went into it, how did you approach what you wanted to do on this album personally?
You mean vocally?
Yeah.
Well, I think mainly the songs really lend themselves to be able, since there's a lot of new musical angles to the songs, I figured it'd be time for me to get out of my comfort zone and try a bunch of new shit too. And funny enough, a whole bunch of shit actually worked out, and I figured out a whole bunch of new things that I'm doing on the songs I've never done before, which is really challenging but really fun at the same time. It might be interesting to see how it goes live, but there's a lot of new stuff that's going on there vocally. placement wise as well. There's a lot more layering and like actually using the vocals as an instrument rather than just, you know, being a death metal singer and have vocal patterns and just bark around, you know. There's a lot of musicality to it too this time. And lyrically as well, it was, since, you know, we're already trying different stuff, well, might as well, you know, expand the horizon that way as well.
And with that, I mean, of course, with the album just coming out in a couple weeks now, I mean, when you look back at the album and see all this progression that you've done personally, how do you feel personally about Terrorvision?
I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody in the record. We're super stoked about it, and to us, it's I think a record we were the most proud of doing in the last bunch of years. So, seeing is how much we've, you know, put effort into, and we've grown in that direction. I think we're all very proud and very happy with it, and hopefully, you know, people will pick up on it and understand and see it as well.
Yeah, and I'm definitely one of them that has as well. I mean, I definitely see that growth in the band, especially within the last few albums as well. You know, just seeing that growth both musically, lyrically, songwriting-wise. I mean, everything that's been going on in the band. I mean, it's just, I really love this growth that's really going on in the band. And I can easily say it now, like, this has become my favorite Aborted album so far. I mean, it covers so much ground of what I love about the band and being able to incorporate so much. I mean, hearing the fact that you were able to try so much new things on this album and done successfully as well, and then I'm sure everyone else in the band being able to incorporate new styles that they haven't been able to do in this band before, and having it pull off on an album like Terrorvision, it's so cool to see that.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, sure thing. And with that, of course, I mean, not just musically, I love this album, but also it features arguably my favorite album cover of 2018. I mean, like, I'm looking at it right now on my screen, and I love the detail of everything that's going in there, and it has this great horrific feel to it that I really appreciate. How did you guys decide on this artwork?
Well, we actually had another guy do a first draft at first, and we were like, we really loved the artwork for Retrogore, so we had to have something that was at least as good or better than that, or we wouldn't be happy. So we with the other artists, we went back and forth for a bit, and weren't 100% sold. So at a point, we just were like, you know what, never mind. We'll try something else with someone else. And No Hard Feelings is a great artist too. It just didn't work out. And we hit up Par Olofsson, who had done the KROCKS Manifesto, and I just gave him the brief of the concept, and I think his second sketch was, you know, dead on, and then he just, you know, worked out the detailing, worked out everything. We intentionally kept like some sort of disgusting, rotten meat coloring texture on the whole thing. Because it's also an emotional thing. Green and red together is it's one of the hardest color combinations for the human mind to process, which is, by the way, the same reason why Freddy Krueger's sweater is red and green. So all of that stupid shit got mixed in there. And I mean, that's pretty much how the artwork came to be.
Oh, and I love that too, and I never actually thought about that before, about like the use of colors like that, especially when trying to mix green and red. I mean, whether it's Freddy Krueger or the new Aborted album cover. I mean, I love being able to learn something new like that, and it's great to see that you were able to incorporate it like that.
Yeah, I mean, it gets done a lot more than we know, because it plays on the subconscious, you know. For example, I'm sure you're aware of the show Breaking Bad.
Yes.
They did extensive color study on that show too. And they constantly use color in situations. For example, when Skylar is scared or whatever, she would wear an orange jumper, which, you know, is representative of fear. So there's a lot of things that in our life, without knowing it, that consciously use color study. It's pretty cool.
Oh, very much so. And thinking about that as well, I mean, you know, just making sure that you're able to promote this album the best way that you can. Of course, that comes with singles to be able to promote the album. How did you go about deciding what songs were going to be released ahead of time?
Well, we went to fisticuffs, and whoever hit hardest got to pick the songs for me. No, I think we chose Terrorvision because it more or less, in a way, captures the vibe of the album. Squalor Opera was sort of familiar, but then again, it also had some of the new elements to it, so it was like a sort of safe way to introduce some of the new elements. And there's another single coming out next week for Vespertine Decay, which is definitely one of the more, I'd say, epic songs. It's also the longest song we've ever written. So we did a video for that one too, and it's coming out next week. Don't ask me how it looks because I haven't seen it yet. I only saw, we filmed it months ago, but they're doing a bunch of story shit, and I have not seen it, so I don't know.
Well, that definitely gives me something to look forward to. I mean, that is one of my favorite songs off the album, and I did want to ask about that one specifically as well, because you brought it up before I did, where it is the longest Aborted song to date. What was it like for you to be able to actually hit that 6-minute territory in Aborted?
It took a lot of work because I think that song had way more than 20 fucking versions. The original song sounded pretty different. Quite similar, but there's a lot of small nuances we really like. It was annoying while writing it because we know the potential of the song, but it's not there yet. So we definitely made a lot of versions, fucking with tempo changes and all that kind of stuff until we ended. Even the structure, I think we still changed something when we were in the studio. So it changed a bunch, but in the end, I think we got the best result we could, and it was definitely challenging.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that kind of goes back into why I love this album so much, because you guys are able to push yourselves in so many different directions, and sometimes it's the length of the song and still making it feel fresh and making it feel like it needs to be that long. And it's great to see that you guys are able to hit that 6-minute territory and still make an epic song like that that really fits the mold of what Aborted is all about.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes over live. Just like some other songs like Exquisite Covenant's Drama or Farewell to the Flesh, which are sort of like techie or brutal, but then there's this whole epic part into it. So that's definitely something we'll have to see how it works live. But it was fun writing, and I think it really adds another level of depth and variation to the album, and that further accentuates the heavy parts.
Oh, very much so. And since you did bring it up about getting these sounds out for the live setting, what is it like for you to finally be able to get some Terrorvision sounds into the Aborted set now?
Well, it'll be interesting. we go to New Zealand in about 2 weeks, and since we all live across the world, we don't really get to practice, so basically it's everybody learns the shit and then we show up and hopefully it goes well. So I mean, I think we might not play one or two. We're planning on learning 3 for the Australian tour that's coming out, because the album gets released when we're in Australia. When we're in New Zealand, it's not out yet, so we're gonna practice the songs and sound check, I think. So I'll tell you then.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Just like you said, just like everyone lives in different parts of the world, and I really didn't know how much you guys were often able to practice, be it through Skype sessions or being able to do sound checks, or if you get like a little practice space for a day or two before the tour starts, or I wasn't entirely sure how that went about, but hopefully with the sound checks and everything that happens when you guys make it down there, just like these sounds are so awesome to hear on record. I know you guys are going to be able to pull them off live, and it's going to sound great.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's always worked until now. Usually when we do like a big-ass European tour, we practice like 3-4 days beforehand to make sure everything's cool. But we did a Devastation on the Nation tour. We couldn't practice. It was just fly in, and I guess we got a show. So that's how that went. But it turned out fine because it was songs that we all played for a long time. So everyone was pretty well prepared.
Oh, definitely. And with that said as well, I mean, I'm glad to see that you guys are actually going to be on the road as the album gets released as well, because it's that perfect timing of being able to play those new sounds live right when the album comes out and get people out there to remind them that there is a new Aborted album coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we make it back to the States by early next year. We're looking at tour options, so I think for sure you'll see us back somewhere early next year.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I mean, every time that I've ever seen you guys, it's always been an amazing show, and I can't wait to see what you guys have in store. I mean, when you do eventually make it back here in North America for promotion for Terrorvision. I mean, if this is the direction that you guys are going in with the album, I can't wait to see how everything stacks up amongst the other songs that are going to be played from the back catalog, and just seeing how much stronger that you guys are consistently getting in Aborted.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. It'd be cool. Like, we've been trying since in Europe. We have all our gear there, so we have a lot more production on stage than we do in the US. So with Devastation on the Nation, we actually try to start getting some production in the States too. So hopefully when we come back next time, we can, take it another notch up, because I think it's part of the experience. The band can play and it can be tight and sound good and all, and that's all cool. But I do believe that people are there to see a show, not just like an album being performed live. So I am a strong believer that having a good light show and having your stage properly set definitely adds another dimension to the performance.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you find that right combination of the stage show, stage presence, and the right sounds to be able to play live, amongst being able to actually play those sounds live, I mean, it makes for the best possible show, and that's what's getting me so excited about Terrorvision, just like envisioning in my head what the setup's going to look like, how you guys are going to be able to represent this new era of Aborted, like the colors that are going to be used for the setup and the lights and all that stuff. It's got me very excited.
Yeah, same here, man. We're very excited to play it and see how it turns out.
Oh, definitely. So, with that in mind, I mean, obviously with this new album coming out and being able to promote that for the rest of the year and into 2019, is there anything else that's going on in 2019?
Yeah, so we're doing Australia and New Zealand now. Then we got a European headline tour with Cryptopsy, Benighted, and Cytotoxin supporting. We should be coming back to the States early next year. Then we're doing festivals in Europe, and maybe right before the summer, since we somehow managed to record 65 minutes of music when we recorded Terrorvision, we decided to split it in two because 65 minutes was a bit too much. There's going to be a follow-up and a 20-minute EP coming out in 19 as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to see that that's going to be happening for you as well. I mean, in all different shapes and forms and everything like that. Just like being able to be that consistently busy with everything that's going on. That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. I mean, it's funny. We had so much fucking music, and making the choice of what would be on the EP and what would be on the album was pretty tough, because we ended up deciding not on what were the weakest tracks. It was more like, okay, how do we make the strongest album and the strongest EP? So for sure, it's not like an EP with B-sides. It's all songs that we're all super happy with. So keep your eyes open.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I love what you guys do with that as well. And I mean, I'm glad to see that's going to be happening. Just like being able to, just like you mentioned, it's just like sometimes an EP, it's not a collection of B-sides. I mean, sometimes it's just like a smaller release, and it has these sounds that just fit more perfectly together rather than a full-length album. So the fact that you guys are going about it both ways, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. At first we thought of using some of them as bonus tracks, but that's where it's kind of a shame of all the work you put in, because usually people think the bonus tracks are B-sides or they don't give a shit. So, or they think they're covers. Like, we had 2 bonus tracks on, I think it was Necrotic Manifesto, where everybody thought they were covers, and no, they weren't.
Oh man, that is unfortunate, because I know the ones that you're talking about as well. I mean, the fact that people were thinking those were covers and thought less of those songs. I mean, that's disappointing, because there's some amazing tracks on there.
Yeah, well, thanks. But thanks for noticing. But I mean, I get it. There's so much music out there. There's so much stuff to listen to, and everything is readily available. People have the attention span of a fly, so it's absolutely normal that I'd even be surprised that most people get to the end of the album since there's so much out there.
Oh, definitely. But
I think it's very different from years ago when you still had record stores and you go to a record store and spend your hard-earned money on a CD. You'd listen to that thing over and over and over because it had a certain value to you because you just spend your hard-earned cash on it. Where streaming is really cool. I do it as well, but and I'm guilty of this as well. Absolutely, you have so much stuff to listen to. A lot of times you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, and that it does make sense. I mean, especially with today's age and the internet and so many different streaming sites and all that stuff that's going on. I mean, that is a great positive because you are able to discover so much music that you may not have been able to before, just going through record stores and just deciding what you're going to be spending money on rather than like a monthly fee to be able to stream all this. But then again, there are bands that are able to put out an amazing album from start to finish, and there are those people out there who do want to listen to it from start to finish and really dissect and divulge everything that's going into there, and I can definitely say that is the case with Terrorvision. I mean, once I got this and I saw the direction that you guys were going in, I constantly keep going back to it, and I'm able to discover new things, either lyrically or songwriting or the way changes are going on there, and it's one of those albums that does make me just want to keep going back and discover all these things I might have missed the last time I checked it out.
Right on, man. Thank you. I mean, it's good to see that there's still people that pay attention.
Oh, definitely. But with that said, I think that's a fantastic note to end on, and thank you so very much for taking all this time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Aborted, and of course the brand new album Terrorvision coming up September 21st through Century Media. I absolutely love this album, I love the direction that you're going in, and I really appreciate you taking time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in Aborted.
No problem, man. Thanks for the interview, and all the best with everything you're doing, and take care.